All right, take two. Oh, you guys, good morning again. This is Kia Ortiz for Mommy Mondays. We had a little bit of technical difficulties earlier on, but we're ready to roll. For those that are new, welcome to Mommy Mondays. We're a community of mothers and specialists, both that have had kids for a long time, those that are new, just coming together to encourage and strengthen one another in the joy of motherhood. So if you are an existing mom, if you're desiring to be a mom, this is the place for you. And for those that are returning, welcome back. We love hearing from you guys. So when you get in, tell us where you're from. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and feel free throughout today's conversation to comment in the chats. We'll be eyeing for your questions and comments. We really love hearing from you guys because the part of being a community is we want to be able to address our concerns. And so we want to hear those. We want to hear your ups, your downs as we talk about today. So if this month is all about wellness and motherhood. And so if you peep the videos before, you see we've talked to several people this month, or we've talked to we have talked to a nurse specialist that helped us understand about wellness coaching. Last week, I spoke about how having kids has affected my marriage. And today, we're going to talk about hormones. So without further ado, I introduce to you Miss Eliza. Hi, lovely. You got to unmute your mic.
Morning. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning.
Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I can hear you okay on Facebook. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I can. Okay, say something for me. Facebook.
Okay. Good morning.
Okay. So let's see. Back where we were. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become a hormone specialist? How did you even get started with that?
Yeah, I think it's a really actually kind of a long story. When I was really little, my grandfather used to tell me, Eliza, you're going to be a really good nurse someday. And I mean, I was probably like 2, 3, 4. Like it's one of my earliest memories is him telling me that. And it feels like that's what I was created to be. Like always, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. I wanted to be in the medical field. And so I did. I became a nurse. And it was funny how the Lord really led me into being a labor and delivery nurse. So when I went into nursing, I wanted to be a pediatrician. And then I figured out I'm a total adrenaline junkie. So I love the ER. I love the trauma rooms. I love the ICUs. Like I loved all of that. And labor and delivery was nowhere on my radar. I actually did not enjoy my rotation in labor and delivery. And so, anyways, God is just so good. And I ended up interviewing for a labor and delivery position. I just kind of applied for everything that was out there and interviewed for everything. And it was in the interview process that my heart was just drawn there. And she said, it's kind of like an ER in here. You never know what you're going to get. And I'm like, yes, I'm in. Like it was the adrenaline that pulled me in. And I have just found my heart there. I found my passion there, helping women. And what could be better than to be intimately involved in a woman's most, it's the most intimate thing you could ever be involved in. And most everything is the happiest day of their lives. And so when I had my first son, I had severe postpartum depression. And so I went to my doctor, and she was very sweet and very attentive and ran a bunch of lab work. And she told me, she said, hun, everything looks normal. So I think you just need more calories. I was breastfeeding. You know how many calories you need when you feed these babies. They take everything out of you. She's like, try and get more sleep, eat some more calories. She just really encouraged me to do some self-care. And so I walked out of that appointment. I felt seen, but I also was like, this is it. This is my lot in life. This is normal. This is what moms feel like. And so I went on to have 2 more babies. Both had severe postpartum depression with both of them also. And I just was like, well, this is normal. I went to the doctor the last time and she did all my labs and she told me this is normal. So this must be how moms feel. And so it wasn't till my fourth baby that I just was like, I don't even know myself anymore. I was so desperate for help. My fatigue was so severe. I literally would say I would rather be dead than awake. Like, it was painful to be awake. I was so exhausted and I had major mood issues, like just so many things that I was just like, this cannot be my normal. And so I walked into a doctor's office. Insurance changes, a new doctor. And I said, something is wrong. I need help. Like, you need to test my hormones. And she looked me right in the eye and she said, I'm not testing your hormones. You're a woman of childbearing age. Of course they're going to be off. And I left in tears. I was devastated. Like, why would them being off be acceptable? Like, if you know they're going to be off, shouldn't you do something for me? Like, I was just so devastated when I left. And so but now I'm grateful. When I look back at it, I'm grateful because that was the catalyst that said, no, I'm not accepting this as my normal. I'm not taking these professionals at their word to tell me, one, this is normal, or two, yeah, they're off. You just have to live with it. Like, there has to be a better way. And so I just kind of started down this path of my own healing, my own hormone balancing. And of course, as I figured out all these things and corrected my own hormones and got my life back and found myself again and realized, no, women do not have to live like this. This is not, it's common. It's common, but that doesn't mean it's normal. It's not normal to live that way. And so I just started sharing it with people closest to me, my sisters. I mean, my poor sisters and friends are probably like, stop, Eliza, with the hormone talk. But I just started sharing, and I started seeing other women's lives change. I started seeing, women who couldn't have babies. And I started seeing, like, women with postpartum depressions, come out of it. And I just started seeing all these things that energized me. At the same time, I love my labor and delivery job. I still am a labor and delivery nurse. I still work. But I was seeing the result of our medical field in those women. And I thought to myself, what if I caught them earlier? What if there was hope before they're here? I mean, granted, those women were having their babies, but I was hearing their stories of being ignored and gaslit in the medical profession and not supported while during labor and bullied into what the doctors wanted them to do. And I just thought, what if I caught them sooner and empowered them in their own education to know their bodies well and to advocate for themselves. So that's what started it. And then, this launching this business has been the slowest thing ever, but I have 5 kids and I do work, and it's just slowly snowballed. And then here I am. I'm like, this is the passion. This is what I want to do. I want to help women. So that's how it got started.
Wow. So much goodness that you said in all that, because good morning, Yessie. There's so much goodness in that, because one, you said just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal.
Yes.
And the fact that just because we go through so many hormonal changes with having children doesn't mean that there's some abnormalities going on in there. Even the fact that you said you went to go ask your doctor to check your hormones, the first thing that went in my mind is, what would you even check for? Because we're not having those conversations about our hormones. I mean, I just had my 4th child, and no one in the medical profession has sat down with me to help me understand my hormones outside of my pregnancy hormone. Yep. Because it's like, okay, we see that hormone, then yeah, you're pregnant, but that's pretty much it. And so that whole chemical imbalance that's going on in your body, I mean, you see it happening on the outside, but what's going on internally? So what are some common hormonal changes that is happening to us? And can you give us like the medical terms of them when you speak on them? So then that way, when we have our conversations with our doctors, we can be educated enough to use those words so they can look for something specific.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I haven't actually found a doctor in traditional medicine that will test hormones. So So what I do is all symptom based. I feel like when you know what is normal, then you can see
Mhm.
what's abnormal and you can see where the imbalances are. You can order hormone testing kits, and you can naturopaths. A lot of them will do some hormone testing. It's hard. So you do have to advocate for yourself, and using the right terms does give you a little bit more respect, right? The doctor's like, oh, she's not just in here being like, I don't know, something's wrong, but
Mhm.
you're
Wikipedia nerd.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like one of the most common hormonal issue is estrogen dominance. Um, and so this is a little bit tricky because progesterone and estrogen, they have to live in this world where they balance each other out. And so a lot of times if a doctor tests your progesterone, they're going to be like, oh, it's normal, it looks fine. But it's all about ratios. It's all about balance. It's all about where does it fall with estrogen. And our progesterone literally goes like this through the month. So which point did you test your hormones? Was it on the right week? Where are they measuring it against? There's lots that go into actual hormone testing. But when you talk about estrogen dominance, you get things like endometriosis, which I know you have talked about having struggled with. You get fibroids, you can have cysts, you can have PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's estrogen dominance. It's also low progesterone and high testosterone. So I guess I'm throwing out all these things now, right? So the main hormones are progesterone, estrogen, testosterone or androgens, which are the more predominantly male hormones, but we need them too in our bodies. And then cortisol. Cortisol is really, really important. So I have seen some doctors that will test cortisol levels. And
Okay.
then the last one would be thyroid. So those kind of all work together through your monthly cycles to give you that. I call it a dance. It's really beautiful how it was created. And I think we've kind of gotten into this thing where we blame our hormones for everything. Like, oh, it's just hormones or the PMS. Like we kind of had this like negative talk about how our bodies were created. And but really when it's all working optimally, it's so beautiful. Like we women are the only we're the only like men can't do this. We make a new organ every month when our ovary when we release an egg from our ovary, what's left becomes an organ. And for 2 weeks it gives us the hormones we need for those 2 weeks, and then it goes away, and the next month we make a new one. Like it's our bodies are so I know I'm it's so amazing. So when you actually dive into it and you shift your mindset a little bit and you're like, thank you hormones. Like without our hormones we wouldn't be living, we wouldn't be women, we wouldn't be like it's really a beautiful thing. So yeah, it's hard to ask for hormone tests. A lot of times they don't want to do it. Cortisol is a big one. Like I said, cortisol, thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, and androgens would be like the five big ones. And then they need to be knowledgeable enough to say, well, I need you here on this day of your cycle because that's when we're going to get the numbers that we need. Um, so it's really interesting. Testing is really interesting. It's kind of hard to get, but educating yourself and knowing your body well, most of the time you can figure out most of your hormone issues without testing.
So okay. So you said when we're estrogen dominant, we have the fibroids, we have endometriosis. Can you give us briefly like what for us to look for when we're progesterone dominant, when it's our thyroid that's out of whack,
Mm.
when it's our cortisone that's out of whack, and the other one that you had mentioned,
Yeah, androgens.
antigen. Yes.
Sure. Okay. So, high androgens usually is when you're going to have PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome, or be heading in that direction, which you can correct. So, labels are hard. Like you want to know what it is, but you also need to know that just because you've been given that label doesn't mean that's who you are or what you
Yeah.
have to have the rest of your life. Because there can be healing. So high androgens, you're going to have kind of male type symptoms. So you're going to get facial hair and body hair, dark facial and body hair, thinning hair. So a lot of times it's male pattern baldness. So you'll get kind of thinning happening here. Weight gain, acne is really common when your androgens are high. And then a lot of women experience a lot of irritability and anger because, those male hormones, testosterone, if you think about like roid rage type of a thing, it really is affecting our ability to control anger. So that's a really big one. For I've never seen a woman progesterone dominant. That's just in our culture. You're most likely you're not going to see it. And if you are, there's like really major, like maybe tumors or something going on there. So I don't. Pregnancy is your highest progesterone you will ever have. So if you're having like major pregnancy symptoms, I mean, maybe that would be a sign. Like I said, I've never seen that, but your highest progesterone you'll ever have is when you're pregnant.
Okay.
So that's how you would feel with really high progesterone.
What is progesterone control?
Yeah, okay. I love progesterone and I love the name progesterone. It's our feel good happy hormone. It's the one that makes
Okay.
it. So when you see a pregnant woman, you're like, you're glowing and their skin's all dewy, like that's progesterone. It's also pro-gestation for pregnancy. So it builds up your uterine lining and holds your babies in. So women who are having reoccurrent early miscarriages, that could be a sign of low progesterone. Women who can't get pregnant, like there's no implanting happening, that could be that the uterine lining needs some love. So progesterone might be low in that way. PMS is low progesterone. Acne is low progesterone. I mean, basically any issue you could ever have is probably low progesterone.
We need more happy hormones.
Our feel good happy hormones. Yeah. So definitely, yeah, mood swings. I'm trying to think. Cysts are actually our low progesterone. So is really heavy bleeding and cramps. So this is another common is not normal. Cramps are not normal. Like you should just wake up like on whatever and be like, oh, look, there's my period. And then be like, put on your pad and move on with your day. Like cramps are actually not normal. And women are like, yeah, I know. Yes.
What a world.
Who knew? And we have like, oh, my grandma has cramps. My aunt has cramps. My sister has cramps. We just have cramps. Oh, we're like, we make jokes about PMS. PMS is also not normal. Yes, our hormones shift. And I have I call it the seasons, where it's like, there's seasons where, when you start your period and you're like, I'm tired and it's winter. It's your body's winter. It's time to like snuggle up in a blanket and care for yourself, read a book, draw your kids in instead of taking them out, like it's winter in your body. And then you just kind of go through these seasons, right? Because you start to get more energy as your period ends. That's spring. You're like, okay, I'm feeling better. I'm getting my energy back. Things are blooming. I'm getting new ideas for the week. You just start to bloom. Right. And then when you ovulate, it's summer. It's like, woo, this is the best. Like I have energy. It's party time. Let's go out. Let's have a girls' night. Let's have, you all of a sudden you get these ideas. Like, I think I'll just invite the whole neighborhood over. It'll be fun. Like you just get this like burst of energy. Yes. You're like seeing your husband. You're like, hey, date night. Like, you just get this new energy. And then you kind of hunker down back into fall where you're like, it's time to start considering like bringing it back in. And this is the fall is our PMS week. And it's when we start to see our inhibitions are lower. So I am like, this is the week where when you see something that irritates you, we don't solve it this week. We don't talk about it this week. We write it in our journal that says, I'm really irritated about the laundry. So when spring comes in 2 weeks, I'm going to problem solve my laundry system. Like, I don't like that I'm tripping over the jeans again. Like if I need more laundry baskets, I'm going to put it on my list. So you just start working with your body and you just realize like there is a purpose for every season. There's a purpose for fall when you're irritated and seeing everything that's wrong. It's just not the season to solve it. Because then you're just like, the laundry! Instead of like ordering a laundry basket at Target. Like, you're so irrational in fall, don't you?
Yes.
But acknowledge them. Like your mind is seeing these things for a reason. Like the laundry probably doesn't need a revamp, But so there's
but even if you don't take it so personal, you know what I mean? Because that you're aware that I'm in my fall season. I love how you're using seasons because so many times we say that that's that mood or, I'm just being stank or I'm just being, no, I'm in my fall season. I like that much better. And so when my husband calls me, I'm in my winter season. Don't say I'm PMSing. I'm in, because sometimes you could feel like that, even if it's not your cycle. And I know me personally, I used to hate it. Oh, you're PMSing. Like, no, I'm not. And you try to prove the fact that you're not having a mood swing whilst you're having a mood swing. And it's like, you know what? No, that's part of my self-awareness. I am aware that as a woman, my hormones are adjusting. And so some things that are happening outside of my control, which I absolutely love because Mommy Monday is all about mental health. we all have a mental status. It depends upon the day, it depends upon the season, it depends upon what's going on. And so by simply acknowledging, look, this is, and I love how you said earlier, just don't take it on as a label of who you are. This is something you're going through.
Yeah.
So I'm going through something. That doesn't mean I'm an angry person. That doesn't mean that, I have an attitude problem. Like, something is going on, and I'm going to be aware of it and be the first to be aware of it before everybody else tries to tell me.
I love that. Yeah. And it's a nice way to take responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't have to blame other things. I can know that there's a purpose that these hormones shift, and there's a purpose for us women to see things that irritate us. There's a purpose to that because we're problem solvers. We get it done. We just need to recognize that when that week comes where we're feeling a little more irritable, that's not the time we problem solve. That's the time we just write it down and come back to it when we're in a different season. But we're grateful. We're grateful for that shift because we want to get it done. We want to problem solve. We want to see the things that need to shift. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's just a mindset change. And I love how you brought up that you're all about mindset, because when I first started this hormone journey, I started with infertility and thyroid issues and endometriosis and PCOS and, hormonal acne, hormonal migraines. Like I started with these symptoms up here, and I just started asking, but why? I want to get one layer deeper, but why? But why is our B vitamin so low so we have no energy? But why? Like I just wanted to get deeper and deeper. And I will tell you 100% of the time, it comes down to how we're managing our stress. It comes down to cortisol. It comes down to that stress hormone. It comes down to how we're handling. We can't manage. We can't control what comes in, right? We have a little bit of control. Well, we like to pretend we have control, but we don't. So what's going to come in our life is going to come in, but we do control how we allow our bodies to respond to it. And so there's just really cool tools. One, to reset cortisol completely. So sometimes it just gets so out of control that you do need you need help. We need to get a full reset. And you asked about how would you know? So some of those symptoms, one is tired and wired. So at night when you're just like, I'm done. My body is done. I worked hard today. I'm tired. And as soon as your head hits the pillow, your brain kicks in, and it's all the things, and you can't fall asleep because you're just so wired. It's the 3 a.m. wake ups. Cortisol loves to wake you up at 3 a.m. I do not know why. It's the 3 a.m. You're like, cortisol, I'm trying to sleep. And then during the day, it's the irritability where you feel like you just can't handle normal things. So I'm like, I'm drowning. Like everything's right here. So everything throws me over the edge. Mm-hmm. And lowering your cortisol just brings everything back down here so you can handle that input through the day without like everything. So those are some signs that your cortisol might be high. But really, truly, most every hormone imbalance, you can find the root in stress and cortisol. And so learning that mindset, learning to manage that, learning how to shift your perception of things. And I love that you have gone so opposite of this, like, motherhood sucks culture, for lack of better word, and just like, right? I'm like, I can't with that. Like we like, it doesn't. And shifting that mindset and finding the joy in motherhood, that's going to balance our hormones. Do it for yourself, if not your kids, just shifting how you see your life. And gratitude, hands down, is probably the number one thing. And I actually, that package I promised to send you, I'm still putting it together, but there's this tiny it's just a little gratitude journal. And I'm like, write it out when you see something you're grateful for, and just the little things right in front of you. And that was
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send me my journal. Y'all, so I have my session here, and we have a question here. But before I jump into the question, I do want to say thank you very much for that, because I've been trying to understand, like, okay, there's a lot of mommy pages, a lot of mommy stuff going on out in our world, because people want to talk about it. Everybody has opinion nowadays. But a lot of the pages that I go on to, it kind of strikes a nerve, and you just gave it language. I don't want to hear about the problem with motherhood. I don't want to hear about how stuff sucks. I want to hear about how can I make it better? What are some solutions? I mean, one of the main things with Mommy Mondays is the best me gives my children the best moms. Mm-hmm. And so understanding your hormones, understanding I don't want to choke my kid because necessarily my kid is being a kid, but there's something going on inside me that I need to be self-aware. I need to know what's going on. And it cracks me up because I remember the first week before I even knew I was pregnant, all the boys in my house irked me, like they're breathing, like shut your mouth, like. And so I was horrible that week. Instead of being like, oh, what season am I in? What's going on with my body? Am I pregnant?
Yeah.
Let me go check. So one of the questions we have for Yessie, she's asking it if we could be just a little bit more clear on the hormonal check. And you guys, I definitely want to encourage you guys, hit up Eliza, get a session with her, because a lot of this that we're talking about is personalized. And so if you allow me, Eliza, I just want to share with them a little bit of the process that you took me through.
Yeah, sure.
She has a questionnaire on her website. I'll put that in the comments. And then she can, based off of what you put in your questionnaire, she can address some things with you. Because earlier on, she said that a lot of doctors won't test your hormones. Go figure. And what it sounds like, Eliza, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of them don't check your hormones because it's your hormones are going to be out of whack because of where you are in the month. You know, they vary. But also, there's not a lot of education on what's considered balanced, your estrogen and progesterone, like what's considered balanced. I know your thyroid, I've heard a lot about that. But even your cortisone, like these are things that they don't even talk to. So could it be that a lot of doctors are unaware what that, even if they did give you a lab, even if you looked at them, would a lot of them be educated on what's considered abnormal or normal numbers?
No, I think that's why they don't do it, because there's nothing they can do with the numbers. So the only thing they'll just put you on birth control. They'll try and put you on birth control because that masks everything and they think they fixed you. So most of the time that's what I see. And even women going in with PCOS, with endometriosis, so they have done all the diagnostics and you have the diagnosis, this is PCOS, this is endometriosis, this is, whatever. They say, well, we'll put you on birth control. And so, and truly for a minute, it feels like maybe that helped, right? It masks the symptoms for a season. The problem is the underlying issues are not gone. Your progesterone is still too low. Your androgens are still too high. Like you're still estrogen dominant. You still have all these issues. And granted, maybe we mask the issue for this season of life where if you're trying to have babies, like they're putting you on birth control, like it really perpetuates the problem. But there are other things that low progesterone do, like you put your really high risk for breast cancer. So, okay, grant maybe your face cleared up and maybe, you're not having really heavy cycles anymore because you're on birth control, but your progesterone is still low. So there is still reason to fix that. Even if you're like, oh, I don't care if I'm on birth control, there's still reason to fix those underlying issues. So yes, see, this is hard for me to answer. And yes, you may ask your doctor, see if they're willing. And then I don't know what they'll do with that information. And like I said, everything I do is symptom based. So my hormone questionnaire is where you would start with me, because the symptoms are just so obvious that you can really figure out what's going on without hormone labs. But if you're going to go to your doctor and try, ask for progesterone, ask for cortisol, ask for a full thyroid panel. A lot of doctors will test T4 and TSH, but really that's not enough information. We really want to know free T3. There's other information we want on the thyroid. And then our thyroid normal is skewed. So most women, even on the high end of normal, are going to have what we call subclinical hypothyroid symptoms. So that means even though you fall in a normal range, it is not optimal for your body. And there's lots of research out now on so many women falling into this subclinical hypothyroid. I'm not saying don't get labs. If your doctor will actually do them, great. It's one more piece of information as you research your hormones. But they may not offer you a solution, but you can take that information and plug it into where you need it to be.
Okay, cool. Because I want to get into some of this problem solving, because he didn't even ask, how do you balance your hormones? I'm going to let you get started. And if it's okay, can I go get some of the little knickknacks you had me to get? Because okay. So go ahead. So the question is, what are some things that you could do to help balance out your hormones?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll talk about a couple of things that you can start absolutely today, that you don't need anything extra than what you have right in yourself and in your home, because so much of our hormone balance starts with really good stress management. So that is a phenomenal place to start. How are you managing your stress? How are you processing what is coming in, and what are you doing with that? So teaching your body to respond in a way that doesn't spike your cortisol. So I have a on my Instagram, and I think on my website too. My Instagram is simplywell.health. There's a free, is it linked there anymore? It might be linked. I'll make sure it's linked. I have a resource on just building resilience to stress. So 5 steps that I feel like I was given in a really stressful part of my life that I share with you guys. So it's called Building Resilience to Stress. I think it's linked on my Instagram, but it's for sure on my website. So, and that's free. It's just a free resource for you. So if you want to start somewhere, and there's lots of places too to learn how to balance and manage stress, but that is a really, really important place to start. Like you can do that without purchasing anything. You can just, or changing anything. You can just start breathing deep, 5 deep breaths. 5 deep breaths is like magic. I talk a lot about box breathing. So you could do box breathing, anything that brings down the cortisol. It will help with your hormone balance. The other thing is sleep. Look at you. I love
Sorry,
it.
because we just had Christina on 2 weeks ago,
Did she talk
and
about
we're
stress?
talking about breathing, and we're going to have her on at the end of this month, and she's going to
Perfect.
give us a breathing technique to help with that. And it's so funny because I'm like, "Ah, breathing, that's so lame, that's so small, but you guys, it's huge." So make sure you tune in on the 28th, I believe. She's going to be
Yeah.
in here giving us the breathing exercise. So
I
yes.
love it. And okay, so I know, so even 5 deep breaths, she'll probably give you more specific one like box breathing or something that really ties in other senses, because it really helps to reduce. It's great for anxiety too, or panic attacks, those breathing. But the really cool thing is, and this is yours, it's going in your package. But if you add a scent to your breathing, it expedites how powerful that breathing is. So the sense of smell is the only a sense that bypasses the like rational thought. It hits you right in the limbic system. So that's your emotional control center of the brain. So it passes by this like rationalization that we do when we're really anxious. So it can break through that barrier. And so it's really powerful to add a scent when you do your breathing exercises. The other thing that it does is the sense of smell is connected to memory. And so when you teach your body to calm itself and reduce its cortisol and shift with breathing and a scent, pretty soon all you have to do is like pull up that scent and start to breathe it in, and your body will shift because memory kicks in. Memory tells your body, oh, when we do that, then we calm down. And so it's really, really powerful. And so this is something you do. You don't just do it when you're stressed out. You build a practice of shifting your body to a calmer state. Because even right now, I don't have anxiety right now, but I could shift a little bit calmer. Like you just teach your body, you can shift anytime I ask you to, you can shift down. So that's really, really powerful. But there's some other steps in my Building Resilience to Stress mini course. But one of them is speaking truth. Our minds are so powerful in how we respond to stress. And so I will tell you, I had a really stressful day yesterday, and my kids, it was so hard. We just came off a birthday weekend. I'm overtired. I didn't sleep well. I didn't eat well. I did not take care of my body well. And I am just so irritated. And in my head is saying, these kids are driving me crazy. Why won't these kids listen? Why? And that's what's in my head. That's what's going through. So I need to take a step back. I need to do my breathing exercise. I need to shift what's true, because it's not true that they're driving me nuts. What's true is I don't know what is true in that moment, like for you guys, but I just like, I've been given this gift, like the shift again, like these are my gift. Okay, just that right there. I'm like, oh, like everything, all that goes. I'm like, oh, they're my gift. Like I'm looking at them wrong. Oh, thanks. I needed this talk. I needed this talk for myself. So anyway, shifting stress is huge. I could talk for hours and hours on stress, so I won't. Sleep is the other big one. And I don't know if you guys fall into this habit like I do, but when my kids go to sleep, all of a sudden it's me time. It's me time. I'm staying up too late. I'm binge scrolling my Instagram. I'm whatever I'm doing. It's like this, and we do need me time. So that's not what I'm saying. But all of a
No, I
sudden
get
it's
you saying. We get up. We take
Yeah.
full advantage of it at nighttime when we're supposed to be
Yes.
sleeping.
Yes. And so shifting that, so getting good sleep. Sleep is when our bodies reset and our hormones reset and our adrenals can rest and our thyroid can do its job and it's just our immune system comes up. If we don't get enough sleep, our blood sugar isn't balanced. Balanced blood sugar is so important to hormone balance. So there's just so many reasons to get good sleep. So managing stress, getting good sleep, sunlight. Sunlight is just magic for the hormones. So especially early morning sunlight, you can even open a window, but if you can get outside, get your face in the sun, that shifts moods, that boosts hormones, that does so many good things, resets our circadian rhythm so we can sleep better that night. There's so many benefits just getting outside in the sun. Hydration is really important. And I have learned that just drinking a glass of water usually isn't good enough. So our electrolytes and minerals need to be balanced. So if you drink a big glass of water, but you don't have enough electrolytes and minerals, you're just going to pee it right out. Nothing comes into the cells. So you're actually not hydrated. You're very thirsty and dehydrated, and you're drinking a ton of water and you're peeing a ton, but you're not seeing any results of being hydrated. So that's something simple you can do. A pinch of a mineral salt in your water. I mean, there you can purchase electrolyte, supplements or things you put in your water, but you can do a pinch of mineral salt, or you can do coconut water has minerals and electrolytes in it. I mean, there are just ways that you can hydrate better. And then how you eat is really, really important. And people always balk at this. They're like, don't take my food, don't take my coffee, don't touch my, wine on Friday nights or whatever it is that you just like really feel like, I look forward to that. Don't take it from me. But I just want to encourage you to really, truly care for yourself, because I think your body is probably telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing. And we are really good at ignoring ourselves. And so I just want to encourage you, if every time I drink coffee, my body says, why did we do that? I do not do well with coffee. Caffeine actually is a forced cortisol response. It forces the adrenals to respond. It's a stressor. It forces the adrenals to respond. So I get very shaky. I get very irritable. My anxiety increases over the next days, not just that moment. Like for days, I have higher anxiety. My adrenals do not like caffeine. And every time I'm like, why didn't I care for myself enough to not drink coffee? Like it's just bringing it back to truly tapping into your own intuition, because you know your body well. And if that coffee bothers you, if dairy just like upsets your stomach, and when your stomach's upset, you're tired, and when you're tired, you're cranky and you're yelling at your kids, then stop drinking milk. Like it's just you're dying over here. But it's true. We just ignore our bodies for what? For momentary pleasure that really is not worth it in the end. So that's what I call self-care, like caring enough about yourself to just don't. If your body tells you no, then don't. Like listen to yourself.
Yes, I love it, because it's like it's all stuff that we know, right? And aware. Well, there's a few things you said I did not know, about the water, and things of that nature, how, that first morning light is so crucial to your day. But these are things that we are aware of, but at the end of the day, we just don't do because of that immediate gratification, or because of culture. I mean, our culture teaches us, I got to have my coffee and Jesus is how I get by. And it's like, well, can your body handle that? You know what I mean? Because even right now you're convicting me. I'm like, am I getting up to drink coffee as a natural response because that's what I need to wake me up? Or is it something really I need? Is it really even helping me? And so one thing I do want to share with them is this turmeric that you got me on, girl. Y'all.
Yeah.
So I started changing from my coffee and just drinking this in the morning, because I was like, I just love the warm feeling and the flavor of it. That could be an adjustment changer. Can you tell them what turmeric does to the body? Uh-oh. You frozen?
Yeah. That you're on because
Oh, break it up a little bit. Hold on one second.
I don't know what to call that. Can you hear me? Am I frozen still?
Okay, I can see and hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, that turmeric is so great because inflammation plays a role in severe period pain. When our body is inflamed, that plays a role. So that is really good for you. And coffee is inflammatory. So you double whammy lowering your inflammation. You took away something inflammatory and you added something inflammatory. So you twofold by replacing that have done something really good for your body. And then I will say with just estrogen dominance, finding a way to reduce the amount of estrogen we're exposed to. So that's our products and things in our home. But I think in this culture, because it's such a high stress culture and we're exposed to what I call external estrogens in our food, in our water, in our products, most women do need some help as far as supplementing progesterone in a natural way that your body can recognize. And I think you do use progestins, right? That's one that we
Yes.
talked about. Yeah, so that's the one. That's my absolute favorite. It's micronized, which means your body can readily use it. It's made from wild yams, so it's natural. So it's not any synthetic. It's not dangerous at all. It's actually like when I talked about breast cancer, synthetic progestin is actually very dangerous for your hormones. That's what you have in birth control. Natural progesterone is very healing and it's like lysis is the word, but it pops those cancerous cells. It's very good to have natural progesterone in your body. So that's my absolute favorite. It also does have some essential oils in it, which makes it easily for the cells to absorb. So that's my favorite. I've had women come off of prescription progesterone creams where they were getting no symptom relief at all and feel amazing on this within a month. It's just easy for the body to use.
Yes. Oh, I love it so much. And so you guys, please, like I said, I'm gonna put her information in the comments. Please contact her. At least do the questionnaire. She is so, as you could tell, she's so knowledgeable, well versed in what's going on. She's a mom, so she knows the stresses that we go through. She's a nurse, so she sees so much stuff. And just being able to, and you said this earlier on, it was amazing. Just being able to talk to someone and know that you're not crazy does wonders. I mean, Eliza, the
And
moment that
how
I
many
spoke to
of
you, what were you gonna say?
that's it. How many of us think we're crazy? How many of us think we're crazy? Before I balanced my hormones, I thought something is wrong with me. I am not a good person. I am lazy. I am mean. I am selfish. I am unkind. Like something is desperately wrong with me. And granted I'm like there's responsibility we take for our actions, but it's sometimes something physical. So can we please address the body as a whole? Like that anger can be a symptom that the hormones are off. That exhaustion can be a symptom that your body needs help balancing. Like just to address it on all sides. Like yes, we need to get ourselves together and we need to be kind and those sorts of things, but sometimes it's really extra hard when your hormones are all out of whack. So to truly address the body as a whole, and you are not crazy. Actually, because it's considered so common. You're actually not crazy. So many of us suffer with this, but it is not normal and you do not have to live like that.
Yes, you guys, I'm telling you, just, and a lot of it too, I think, is we don't want to be open and honest. You know what I mean? That I can't stand this, or these thoughts coming my mind, or, but lying to ourselves is not doing anything, and then lying to our health professionals or people that are out here to help you doesn't help anything. We really have to get to the root in this of it all. And so I can't stress it enough, just being able to talk to someone in the medical profession about what's going on and can link the two, or even start you on a journey to link the two, is amazing. Because talking to someone that is, I've now been on 8 types of birth control, from the shot to the pill to the ring to the other stuff that you shove up inside, to now not being anywhere. And today is the first day, like my cycle caught me by surprise, which normally doesn't happen. I should not be sitting here talking to you guys because I'm normally hugging the toilet, yelling at everybody, and just trying to survive. And so just being at a place of being aware of what's going on in my body, knowing that there's solution, knowing that I'm not crazy, I can attest that it's been what now, 30 days since we spoken, and just starting this journey that I feel even better, even if it's just a matter of, hey, I'm not crazy, or yeah, cutting out milk or dairy, knowing my body don't like it did make a difference. Hey, cutting out gluten because that does inflame your body. Just these things that are so simple. You know what I mean? I don't need to have
And you
surgery.
got
I don't.
results in 30
So,
days.
huh?
30 days. It's 30
Yep.
days. It didn't take you 3 years to feel better. It's actually not hard to shift hormones. It's not hard. Yeah,
Yes,
and
and it
start
really
with my
can make
hormone
a difference.
questionnaire. And I always do a free consult. So if you do that hormone questionnaire, I'll get back to you. We can get a free consult on, because she's saying address our symptoms. I would love to address your symptoms. Go do my hormone questionnaire and let's chat. Like, I'll talk to each one of you. Like, let's do this, because it's
Yes.
really not hard once you know what's going on. 30 days, and you're going to feel amazing in 90. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to get better.
Yes, and I even appreciate you said to me, look, give me 90 days. Because sometimes in our culture, we want that quick fix. And it's like, oh my God, 90 days feel like forever. But it gives me a realistic mindset. I mean, I wish even people do that on weight loss. And we're wrapping up, you guys. But even when it comes to weight loss, you feel like, okay, I'm about to work out and head out for a week. I should see some results. It's like, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Like, surprise. So having realistic expectations helps out a lot. So thank you so much for joining us today. I clearly can talk to you for hours and for days, but I know we don't want to overwhelm people with information, but also I want them to talk to you directly, because there's some personal stuff that we can address, and to have someone that can work with you on an individual base is such a blessing. So thank you again for just being on here today. Your passion, your heart for women, and just doing what you're doing is amazing. And I can speak for my life. You have blessed me tremendously. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sending you a virtual hug.
I'll take it. I adore you. Thank you. Well, let's do this again. Let's do, maybe we can get some real specifics in and do one just on thyroid, or just on, and kind of narrow it down a little bit. That would be helpful, I think, for
Yes,
women.
I would love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so even better treat, you guys. We will see her again. And so, yes. So if you can, for us, tell us the different places that we can get in contact with you. I'm going to put in the comments. But also I wanted people to know about your blog too.
Yeah. So my website is simplywell.health. And you can connect into my hormone questionnaire there. That's really the best place to start, because I personally print every single one of those and make notes on every single one of them. Like, that's my heart, because I see you through your symptoms. So you can get connected to my hormone questionnaire through there. And then Instagram is great. I'm simplywell.health also on Instagram. So I think those are probably the two best ways.
Yes.
I mean, once you do a hormone questionnaire, usually I text you, and then you have my phone number, and then you can just text me. But whatever way works
I can attest to that too. So yes, Instagram and her website. I'll put it in the chat, the comments as well. So again, you guys, be encouraged. You're not crazy. There are solutions out there, and I'm so grateful for Mommy Mondays for us to come together and bring them to you. And so continue on your wellness journey. Next week, we'll be back on talking about our diet. And we'll wrap up with Miss Christina giving us some breathing exercises, because as Eliza has taught us today, we got to get our cortisone, our stress hormone down. And so we're going to continue with the tips and the knowledge. So we pray you guys have a wonderful day on purpose. And do you have any final thoughts, Miss Eliza?
No, I'm just super grateful.
Nope.
I'm just going to walk through this day in gratitude, just because this was wonderful.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we look forward to having you back again. All right. Talk to you guys again soon. Bye.